Some criminal investigations are solved within days, while others leave detectives searching for answers for years. This is the story of a missing girl whose disappearance shocked an entire community and became one of the most difficult investigations law enforcement had ever faced. What initially appeared to be an ordinary missing person report slowly transformed into a complex criminal investigation involving forensic evidence, witness interviews, digital clues, and years of relentless detective work. Every lead seemed to end in disappointment, and every passing year made the chances of finding the truth appear even smaller. Yet investigators refused to give up. Advances in technology, the discovery of overlooked evidence, and the determination of those working the case eventually brought long-awaited answers that many believed would never come. Today we will talk about the missing girl case that took years to solve. A true crime investigation. So, before we start, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. The day she disappeared, the investigation began on what seemed like an ordinary afternoon. The teenage girl left home after telling her family she would meet a friend nearby and return before sunset. Hours passed without any messages or phone calls, something that was completely out of character. Her family reported her missing that same evening, believing something had gone terribly wrong. Police officers immediately organized search teams, interviewing neighbors, checking security cameras, and searching nearby parks, trails, and abandoned buildings. Volunteers joined the effort, distributing missing person flyers and sharing her photograph across social media. Despite the massive response, there was no confirmed sighting of the girl after she left home. Detectives faced their first major challenge. During the first several days, investigators followed dozens of leads. Friends, classmates, relatives, and neighbors were interviewed in an effort to reconstruct the girl's final movements. Surveillance footage from nearby businesses was carefully reviewed, frame by frame. Cell phone records and electronic communications were analyzed to determine whether she had arranged to meet someone secretly. Detectives initially believed someone in her social circle might hold the key to the mystery, but every interview seemed to raise new questions instead of providing answers. As public attention increased, false tips and online rumors complicated the investigation, forcing detectives to separate facts from speculation. A small clue changes everything. Several months into the investigation, forensic specialists revisited evidence collected during the earliest days of the case. Among hundreds of items was a small piece of physical evidence that had originally seemed insignificant. With improved laboratory technology, investigators were able to extract information that had previously been impossible to obtain. Combined with digital records and newly recovered surveillance footage, the evidence helped detectives narrow the timeline of the girl's disappearance. Investigators realized that one witness account, initially dismissed because it appeared unreliable, matched the newly discovered forensic information almost perfectly. The investigation suddenly had a new direction. Years without answers. Despite promising developments, the case remained unsolved for years. Detectives continued interviewing witnesses, executing search warrants, and reviewing thousands of pages of investigative reports. Every anniversary of the disappearance brought renewed public interest and fresh appeals for information. The girl's family never stopped searching, organizing awareness campaigns and encouraging anyone with even the smallest detail to contact investigators. Law enforcement agencies periodically re-examined the evidence, hoping advances in forensic science would reveal something that had been missed. Cold case investigators often say that solving older cases requires patience, persistence, and the willingness to challenge earlier assumptions, and this investigation proved exactly that. The breakthrough investigators needed, the turning point, came when investigators combined modern forensic analysis with digital evidence that had been preserved for years. Cell phone location data, financial records, and previously overlooked witness statements began forming a clearer picture of the events surrounding the disappearance. Detectives identified inconsistencies in earlier interviews that had gone unnoticed during the initial investigation. A renewed search of a location connected to the case uncovered additional evidence that supported the revised timeline. Piece by piece, investigators reconstructed what they believed had happened, allowing prosecutors to build a much stronger case than had been possible during the early years of the investigation. Just after years of investigation, authorities eventually arrested a suspect after gathering sufficient evidence to support criminal charges. Prosecutors argued that the suspect had relied on the passage of time to avoid detection, believing the investigation would eventually lose momentum. Instead, the opposite occurred. Years of patient investigative work, combined with scientific advancements, transformed what once appeared to be an impossible mystery into a prosecutable case. During court proceedings, jurors heard testimony from forensic experts, investigators, and witnesses whose statements helped explain how the case had finally come together. The evidence demonstrated that even the smallest clue can become critically important when viewed alongside nearly discovered information. If you liked this video and would like to see more like it, please give it the thumbs up, leave a comment and click the button to subscribe.